We have now Parashat Noach. I'm going to do a shiur for Parashat Noach. Parashat Noach, it's very interesting because first we have Parashat Bereshit, which is 1,000 years, 1,600 years. And then we have Parashat Noach, and it goes for another 1,000 years until the time of Avraham Avinu. Till the time of Avraham Avinu, which is the fastest time. In these two parashiyot, we already went to the span of already thousands, a couple thousand years, which is great. It's one of the fastest parashiyot in time of history. So what's happening in this parasha? In this parasha, we have that HaShem sees that the whole entire land is being corrupted. That HaShem gave the Shev Mitzvot to the Goyim, the 7 Noah laws. Actually, at that time it was only 6. At that time it was only 6 that the non-Jews had to do. But even that, the non-Jews weren't doing. Same way they're not doing it now. It's a problem. And then after the Mabul, Hashem gave the 7th one. So now there are 7 Noah laws. Sheva Mitzvat B'nai Noach, as we know it. And people weren't doing it. And there's a question of what was the thing that started the flood. As we see, it explains, the verse says, in the previous parasha, in this parasha, it says, ותשחט הארץ לפני האלוקים, ותמלא הארץ חמס, וירא אלוקים את הארץ, והנה נשחט כי השחית כל בשר את דרכו על הארץ. The translation: Now the earth had become corrupt before God, and the earth had become filled with robbery. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupted, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. Now, what does this mean? Had become corrupted? What does it mean that they did Hamas? They did robbery. Hamas does not literally translate as robbery. Robbery would be gneva or gezel. These are robbery and theft. Hamas is more like a thing that if I steal something, and what do? Instead of giving it back to you, I make it seem like it's okay. What do? I steal the thing that's yours, but then I give you money for it. Whenever you don't, it's not for sale. Or I take one thing that's yours. If I have a certain thing, and if I have a book, and I take this book from you, and what do? I give you the same book, another one. That's also considered Hamas. You took the guy's book, you took the guy's something. If I take your phone and I give you another one, it's also considered Hamas. It's considered the form of theft. I don't want something. I want mine. Don't give me something else. So, what does it mean that v'teshachet haaretz? So the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin 57a, it explains and it says, v'tana devei Rabbi Yishmael. There was a teaching in the Beit Midrash of Rabbi Yishmael. The name Yishmael is a good name, even though we had Yishmael that was, the son of Abraham, that was a Rasha. The name itself, Yishmael, is good. So there was Rabbanim in the Gemara named Rabbi Yishmael. So it says, B'chol makom shne'emar, Yishchetea eino ela davar erva ve'avodah zara. So it says, he explains, any time it says the word, like it says over here, nishchita, or v'tishachet, anytime it says this word, it's talking about two things. It's only these two things. Which things? Erva and avodah zara. So this is promiscuity and idol worship, idolatry. So over here, Hashem says that I see that these people were doing idolatry and avodah zarah, and idolatry and promiscuity and sex crimes, which the non-Jews also are not allowed to do. They're not allowed to do. They're not allowed to be with their sibling, their family, father, mother, sister, male. Even to be gay is not allowed. For goyim also, and also for to be with an animal, it's also not allowed. So he says, in that generation they didn't care. They did whatever they want. So much so that they messed up their mentality. The atmosphere was so bad that even the animals started sinning. The animals that don't even have a sense of sin, even them, they contaminated the whole atmosphere that even the animals started to sin. So it says in the book, The Holy Nation, which I was speaking about before. This is the book, the one that I spoke about before. This is the copy that I'm giving out, trying to print more. This is the copy. It's a big size. It used to be very small. It used to be like half the size of this, and we made it bigger, Baruch Hashem. And we want looking for more sponsors. It's talking about Shmirat HaBrit. Now over here, in page 10, what does it say? In page 10, it says, page 8 and 9. It says at the bottom of page 8, it says, actually page 9. Sexual temptation is the sin that brought about the Mabul. So what was the reason why the Mabul came? What was the fate? What was the thing that sealed the fate of the Mabul, of the generation of the flood? So, Chafetz Chaim, in a book called Machane Yisrael, in an article called Machane Yisrael, article Dvar Be'ito, it says, sexual temptation is the sin that brought about the Mabul, brought about the flood. This is the sin of Er, the son of Yehuda, as it says, Er was evil in the eyes of Hashem. As we're going to see in the next several weeks, we're going to have Er, the son of Yehuda, that dies because of this sin, and Hashem caused him to die. The Gemara greatly elaborates on the severity of the sin, and also known from the holy Sfarim that wasting seed causes poverty and sometimes the death of the children. So going to page 10, it says, the generation of the flood committed every possible act of evil. So all the sins that Hashem still told them not to do, the sins of whether it's the 7 Noach laws, or even the sins just based on logic, based on understanding, it's obvious some things that you can't do. It's obvious some things it's like even though it doesn't say it straightforward in the 7 Noach laws, sometimes it's obvious. They're obligated in things that are sechel, things that you could understand with human logic. For example, there's no obligation in the 7 Noach laws that's written straightforward that someone has to honor his parents. However, it's something that's obvious. They brought you to the world, they raised you, they gave you food, you lived with them for a long time. It's obvious. It's not something that you need a chidush, something for me to tell you, forgot to tell you, that you need to keep it. So, what does it say? They did so much bad, so much evil. So it continues and it says, however, their fate was not sealed until they threw their blood down on the ground, meaning that they would spill their seed on the ground. This is the Zohar in Parashat Bereshit, in the Sefer Bereshit. That's the Zohar. People always say they want to learn Kabbalah. Now I just taught you a little bit Kabbalah. You have to know that that's the thing that brought the flood. So much so that the Chachamim explained that whoever wastes seed, it's as if they brought the flood. Why? Because whenever someone wastes seed, what does he do? He kills maybe 300 million people. And it's in one shot. You could do it in 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. In a minute you could do it. And in that minute you just killed 300 million people, million souls. And these are your kids. So this is the thing that sealed the fate of the flood. So now let's go and continue. In the Sefer, Asicha Shvuit, explains over there how whenever Hashem told Noach to bring all the animals into the flood, what happened? The Gemara, actually the Midrash explains in Midrash Tanchuma, Parashat Bereshit, it explains how Adam used to come every single day, every time, whenever this animal needed to eat. Some animals need to eat every few minutes. Some animals need to eat a few hours. Some animal you just feed him and that's it. You leave him for the rest of the year. Whatever it is. So he had to come every so often. So he didn't even have time to sleep. So one time he came late to feed the lion. He was busy. He came late to feed the lion. What did the lion do? Right away, the lion gave him a nice hit. Scratched him, hit him, and Noach became crippled because of this. So the question is, what in the world? Noach, this whole entire time, this whole year, a full year, he's giving you food, giving you everything, anything you need. He's there for you, he's caring for you and everything, making you sure that you live and that you know, all these type of things. He's making sure that everything is perfectly fine. But what's happened? One time you come, one time he comes late. One time, and automatically, you come and you hit him. What is this? What type of middot is this? What type of, what is this? So there's a story that he brings about Rav Kalmanovich. Now Rav Kalmanovich, he was at the time of his yeshiva, was a very difficult time, and he went to bring the people to Shanghai. But before Shanghai, he used to have the yeshiva of Mir in Russia. In Russia, he went right before the whole entire thing with the Nazis and everything. B'siyata d'shmai, he brought the whole entire yeshiva to Shanghai. Now in Shanghai, there's many people that so Osman, what do? They at the time of these hard times, what do? People keep money to themselves, and if people keep money to themselves, how are they ever gonna? The people are there. They want to learn Torah, but they'll have to live in Shanghai. It's not just you get money from the government, or you get money from your parents, or you get money from something. In the end, you have to work. But to work in a strange country like a China or something, whenever you want to learn, in the end you have to eat. So what are they going to do? If they're going to go to work, they're going to get barely anything. And in the end they want to learn. They don't want to work. So the Rav goes around, starts looking around, and at that time, he starts going around, starts checking around, trying to get money for people, and he goes to one group of rich Jews that lives over there. That they're not learning, they're not anything, but they're over there, rich Jews. So he goes over to them and he gives a shiur. And at that time was actually Parashat Noach. It was Parashat Noach, and he comes and he asks the question. And he says, at that time it was Parashat Noach, and he comes to ask this question about the lion. He says this line: one day Noach comes late. Noah comes late one day and automatically you have to hit him. What is going through, so to speak, what is going through the lion's mind? I'm going to hit him right now. So he answers and he says, you don't understand, this is not just some stam lion. It's not just some whatever type of lion. He's, who is this lion? This lion is the last lion in the world. Every other lion, everything got destroyed. This is the last male lion. The last lion. Because there we know there's only two animals of each species. One male, one female. He's the only male. He's the only lion. He's the only lion in the whole world. So he says, you have to give me privilege. I'm privileged. You have to take care of me. You have to, all these type of things. Because I'm the last one. Rav Kalmanovich goes over to them, to these rich Jews, and he's saying, these Bechorei Yeshivot, that they're sitting, and mamash, they're rare. They're a rare breed. Why? They're not even a percentage. 1% would be a percentage. They're not even 1% of 1% of the world's population. They're like the last ones. And we have to understand that they have some type of privilege. We have to give some type of privilege to be able to support these last bachurim, these last people that are learning in the whole world. So he went over them and he says the Aliyah had some type of point. He had some type of privilege. In the end, he wasn't some stam line. Now another thing. That's why it's very important that whenever you have Bechorei Yeshivot, in the end, they're the ones that keep the Torah, keep the world standing. They're the ones that keep the world standing. So you constantly have to, anytime you have a chance, you see a Bechorei Yeshiva, you see serious. Sometimes they're not serious. Sometimes they're not serious. It's a different story. But in the end, you know someone that's serious. You know a Talmid Chacham that's serious. You know Bechorei Yeshiva, a guy from Kollel, whatever it is, an Avrech, someone that's sitting and learning Torah, making Torah in the world. Pay for him. Give him, support him. Support the yeshiva. Support kiruv. Support people that are trying to help other people do teshuva. Because whenever you help the person, what happens? He takes this money, tries to make this person do teshuva. And if this person does teshuva, he comes back to HaShem. What do you get? People think you just get, okay, fine, I gave a few dollars or whatever it is for a lecture, or I paid for the food for the lecture for people to come, and that actually brought people. What's that going to do? People think, okay, fine, I did tzedakah, I did a mitzvah, very nice. If someone does teshuva from that shiur, someone does teshuva from that money, every single mitzvah that he does, that his kids do, and his future kids, and people, if he helps people do teshuva, they also, what happens to all those mitzvot? You get a copy. You get a copy with this few dollars, $1, whatever it is. Whatever type of money you give, automatically you get a copy in your spiritual bank account. And anytime if you go to a Tamid Chacham, Tamid Yeshiva, that's learning constantly, that he's holding the world up, every single mitzvah he does, every single word of Torah, he gets a mitzvah, and you get constant mitzvot, because you're helping him stay in yeshiva. So it's very important to follow the musar of Rav Kalmanovich. So, by the way, in Rav Kalmanovich, he was at the time of the Second World War. So sometimes another thing that we can learn from this lion. So Zman, in the end, this lion, what chutzpah, what bad middot this lion has. Noach comes every single day, being mosel nefesh, helping this lion to stay alive, helping this lion to be as comfortable as possible. Every time, the Midrash says one time he came late. So what does that mean? That every other time he came on time? He came on time, constantly on the dot. One time he comes late, that's it, you get upset, you throw everything. This is the type of thing that sometimes you do favors for people. You say, you know what, I'm going to do everything for you. One time you mess up. You do so much for your friend, you do so much for some guy. One time, okay, I was late, few minutes, one time, and the guy just gets upset, says, you know what, forget it. And then you're like, you know what, I'm doing you a favor. You don't want to like it, no problem, get out. What do I need you for? What do I need you for? People, sometimes whenever you do them favors, how much you could take someone, sometimes off the streets, and give him a life, give him a job, give him something, give him purpose. Sometimes even if it's teshuva, even if you try to help someone do teshuva, they do teshuva and everything, what happens? In the end, sometimes they go to a different rabbi, no problem. But what do? Sometimes they go against you. Sometimes they're just speaking bad about you, whatever it is. You kfui tova, you disgusting person. I just helped you, someone just helps you, and you treating them like nothing. So much so that someone doesn't. People say nowadays it's not even worth to help people nowadays, because everybody is ungrateful. There's so many people ungrateful. There are people, very much people that are grateful. But so many people are ungrateful. So much so that Rav Eliezer Papo, in his Sefer, Yarzu Chasidim, he says to not, in Yarzu Chasidim, Daf Kav Gimel Amud Aleph, which is page 103, side A. 103a. It says, do not help people that are unappreciative. Don't help people. Why? Because it's not even worth it to have pity on them. Don't even help them. Because you're going to help them. You, mamash, could give your life for them, and then they're going to treat you like garbage. They're going to treat you like nothing. We even see this with kids. Sometimes. With kids, what do? Parents, they born, parents took care of them, fought for them, paid so much money, changed the diapers, changed this, fought for them in school, paid for them in school, did everything, go so far. Every single day fed them, every single day gave them a place to sleep, gave them a place to be, gave them a community, good community to grow up in, and all these type of things. But what happens once this child turns to be the age of Tipesh Yisrael, beats the age of the teenage years? What happens? Automatically, he starts spitting at the parents, starts cursing the parents, starts saying, would you help me? You don't do anything for me. All these type of things. You know how much I did for you? You know how much your parents do for you? Even without the mitzvah of in the Torah, how it says to honor your parents. Even without that, how he said it's a sechir. Even goyim are obligated in it because it's something that's obvious. How could you be such a disgusting person? And not only that, he's still a teenager. Back in the day, they would say, okay, go get married, you make a life. Nowadays, the guy's a teenager, and what happens? He's still living in the parents' house, no problem. By the way, the Gemara says, after a certain age, it's already a chesed. I think it's about age 9. It's already start being kindness. The parents don't even have to feed the kids. They don't even have to, go leave, make your life your own. At that age already. That's it, goodbye. What happens? The parents still constantly try to put show you love, show you mercy, show you having a place to eat, a place to sleep, family, a good, all these type of things. But what happens in it says in Masechet Sodah, page 49b, that's what it actually says. It says at the time of Mashiach, what does it say? Ben kam be'aviv. The son is going to go on top of the father. But be'ima, the daughter over the mother. Kala bechamota. That the daughter-in-law over her mother-in-law. And what does it say? It says, Oy ve'ish anshe beito. That who is the biggest enemies of a person? The people of his house. Even the people of his house. So these type of people are people that are disgusting. They don't even have any. Why are they disgusting? Because someone that does not have musar, someone that does not learn ethics from the Torah, not just some self-help book, some true ethics, divine ethics, musar, that teaches them, who are you? Who do you think you are? HaShem is the one that put you here. HaShem is the one that gave you everything. HaShem is the one that told you to follow this and this and this and this. Your parents are the one that gave you life. You're supposed to honor them. You're supposed to honor them. So this is the thing that the Musar is supposed to teach you, to have manners, not to have ga'ava, to be not to be egotistical, but to be humble. Even sometimes with the wife, sometimes with spouses. What do? The wife comes right before Shabbat. She sets the Shabbat table. This is actually a story that Rav Ephraim Kachlon says that he heard from one rabbi in Israel, by a religious person and his wife. What happens? Shabbat. The wife sets up the table, puts everything nice, beautiful. Husband comes home, he sees pristine silver cups, great, amazing salads, so many salads on the table, the bread nice and fresh. What does he do? He sees something small missing. What? His favorite salad. What does he do? He doesn't say, you know what? There's an amazing table. Let's eat. Let's enjoy. What does he do? He takes the whole table, flips it over, and gets angry, gets upset, screams, curses, everything. This is a person that's considered religious. This person's crazy because, first of all, you don't have musar. You don't have an understanding of what's the big deal. Let's say she forgot. Say, okay, Sadal, you didn't remember. Next week, please remember. Or even if she did it on purpose, so what? So what? So many good salads on the table. So many good things on the table, and you're going to just ruin everything. Ruin everything for your kids. There was one time a story. There's one kid. There's kids in the classroom. Yeshiva. And the Rebbe is saying, what's greater than Shabbat? What's greater than Shabbat? What's greater than Shabbat? And all the kids are like, no, nobody knows. Shabbat is the greatest. Shabbat is the greatest. He says, does anybody have anything that's greater than Shabbat? Nobody raises his hand. Nobody says anything. And he says, you see, and one kid raises his hand. He says, oh, what do you mean? You have something better than Shabbat? The kid says, I know something that's better than Shabbat. What's better than Shabbat? He says, nice salad. Why? Nice food. Why? Sorry, hot food. He said hot food. So why? What do you mean hot food? He said hot food is better than Shabbat. So why? He says, because I know whenever my father comes home and if the food is not hot, he gets upset. He ruins Shabbat. So I know that hot food is better than Shabbat. So this is sad. This is a miskin. The kid, the father, the wife especially, miskinim. Whenever a husband sees that the wife worked hard, and she put in all this effort, same way, this person that threw away the table, he is the same thing as the lion. He's an animal. The lion's an animal. The lion, okay, you could expect it. He's a lion. What do you want from him? But a man, a guy, a religious guy that can learn musar, what do we expect from him? Not to act like an animal, to act like a human being. At least, even some goyim are better than that. But this guy, he's supposed to have musar. He's supposed to be an ethical person. But he just gets angry and he throws everything. This person is the animal. He's the lion. He's nothing different than an animal. Another thing that we can learn from this lion. Who is this lion? What is a lion? A lion is the king of the jungle. He's the king. And what happens with the king? The king, he's supposed to have a certain level of kavod, a certain level of respect, a certain level of honor. And what does the Gemara in Masechet Kiddushin Daf Lamed Bet say? Kiddushin, page 32, page 32a, 32b. What does it say? It says, Melech shemachal al kivodo en kivodo machul. A king that wants to, let go of his honor. He wants to let go of it. Someone called him a name, he's like, yo, it's okay, don't worry about it. Someone did something against him, he says, don't worry about it. What does it say? What's the halakha? There's no michila for his kavod. Meaning you have a certain, you cannot let go of his honor. He cannot, halakha, not just personal thing. He cannot let go of his honor. Halakha. So what happens whenever, every single day, you're doing something perfectly, you're doing perfectly, on the dot, beautifully. One day you mess up, what happens? What are you doing? You're messing up the kavod. I told you to come on this time, you're coming late. What are you doing? You're not honoring what I said. And what is that saying? You're going against my kavod. So the king, Noach, has a king right now that he's taking care of. And he's doing everything for the king, constantly. One day he messes up. The king says, you get hit for this. That's the deen. That's the judgment that you get. So same thing with HaShem Yitbarach. With HaKadosh Baruch Hu, There's a Gemara that says, if someone says Kriyat Shema every single day for his whole entire life, Kriyat Shema, 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 all the time, constantly, morning and night, every single day for the rest of his life. One day, he wakes up and he says, I don't want to do it today. Today, listen, every single day, I'll do it. I did it. Tomorrow I'll do it again. Today I don't want to do it. For what reason? Well, I don't know. I just don't want to do it. The Gemara says over there, it's as if he never did it in his life. As if he never did it in his life. Why? Why he never did it? And then he did it. It says it's as if he's never did it. Why? Because whenever someone does Kriyat Shema, what does he do? He says the pasuk of Shema Yisrael. He covers his eyes, says Shema Yisrael, HaShem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. What is he saying? What is he doing? What's the mitzvah to be done over there? The mitzvah of Ol Malchut Shamayim. To accept on himself, Hashem is the king. Hashem is the king. He's the one and only king. He's the king of all kings. So every single day he's doing that. And he's saying, Hashem, I'm taking upon myself the kingdom, your kingdom. That you are the king. What is he doing? Every single day he's doing it. One day he doesn't want to do it. What does that show? What does that show? That in all the other times, he didn't actually mean it. He was saying, I'm taking taking myself the Ol Malchut Shamayim. But one time he doesn't do it. What does that show? Every other time was complete lies. It's not true. Also for the thing over here, we see one time you mess up, one time you do something incorrect. Hashem says, where is my kavod? I'm the king. I'm the king. You mess up, I'm supposed to punish you. But what happens? What happens? He says, Hashem Yitbarach says, he says, I'm the king. However, if you do teshuva and you act like you do what I tell you, what happens? You come back to being considered my sons. I will be able to say, no, this is not my servant. I'm not a king to them right now. What am I right now? I'm their father. As it says in the pasuk, it says banim atem laHashem Elokechem. It says in Deuteronomy 14, it says, you are the children of Hashem, your God. So Hashem says, yes, the king, the kavod of the king is not forgiven. However, it says, Kiddushin, daf 32, what does it say? It says, if a father is mochel on his kavod is machul. Meaning he could say, my son, don't worry about my kavod right now. You could, if a father, for example, says, please sit in my seat, or he says something that originally you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to do it. If the father says, don't worry, you could do it, I let you. If he says, for example, that you don't have to stand, every single time your father walks into the room, you have to stand for him. But if he says, don't worry, sit down, you could sit down. If he says, listen, I want you from now on, don't get up, don't worry about it. Except if people are here, it's not nice. But if it's just me, you don't have to get up, don't worry about it. Then you don't have to get up anymore. You don't have to get up. He says it, he says, I am mochel on my kavod, you don't have to get up for me anymore. Then that's it, you don't have to get up. Because the father could say, I am mochel. And if someone does teshuva and he acts like the son of God, Hashem says, I could be mochel. I could clear your averot. I'll clear it. But if you go against me, even if it's once, the punishment has to come. The punishment has to come for you. So now we continue. So that was the Sefer Asicha Shvu'it by Rav Ephraim Kachlon. I could show you the Sefer. It's a very nice Sefer. You could actually get it for free in it's called kiruvstore.org. You can get it for free. It's a very nice Sefer if someone understands Hebrew. So, first of all, we see over here, I just want to bring this up over here. It's a very nice, interesting thing. There's a Malbim. There's a Malbim in this parsha. One of the commentaries, he explains, as we have, we see that the Mabul, what happens? It's not only that it was a flood and everything, the water itself was boiling hot. There was a lot of heat, a lot of, crazy things. It wasn't just like a normal, like a flood. You have a flood in your house and you could put a boat on top of it, that's it. Because in the end, things could survive. But what happened in the flood? It was such a destructive flood. It came out everything. Not only that, since it was months and months of intense heat, what happens? It messed up everything of the geography. Everything of the world, it messed everything up. So what happened? It started dating things, aging things like crazy. If we had a certain person that died, his bones were 2 years old, whatever it is, the flood came and made it 5 billion years old, 5,000 years old, whatever it is. Made it years old, and it destroyed so much that he explains that because of all this, because of the flood, that's why people would say it's 1 billion years old, it's 1 million years old, and all these type of things. He explains that it's simply not true. What happens? In the end, the Torah, was given. Well, the world was a few thousand years old. But what happened? In the time of the Mabul, it aged so much. If someone goes through stress, right? You have any type of stress makes things old. If you have a person that goes through a lot of stress, what happens? He could be a 30-year-old guy, but he's going to already have a white beard. He already looks frail, you could see from, let's just bring this example. Nobody really likes him, but whatever. Let's say Barack Obama, right? The first time Barack Obama became president, he looked like a young guy, whatever it is. In the end of his term, 8 years later, he already looked so old. It looked like he aged 30 years. Because in the end, he had a lot of stress in the job. Whenever you put stress on something, it ages it much faster. So the flood put a lot of stress on the earth, so it aged it so much that this is probably where they get it from. Plus, also not to bring that I think even scientifically, all this carbon dating and all these type of dating systems that they have were all proven false. There's a video, I think it's called the young age of the universe. I have to check it up again. So that was one thing. Now, there is another interesting thing. What does it say? It says that the only ones that were saved is Noach. It was Noach and his family, right? It says in verse 23, it says the only one that was saved is Noach and the ones that were with him in the Teva. The question is, what, Noach didn't do anything to the people in his generation? Didn't say anything. Guys, do teshuva. Guys, wake up. Wake up before the world gets destroyed. We say nowadays, wake up before Mashiach comes, so you can do teshuva, so he's not going to chas v'shalom destroy you. Wake up before you're not going to be there. Wake up before before you die, and then, you have to face the consequences. And the olam haba that you lost. Whenever you say constantly, wake up, nobody listens. So what happened? Noach didn't say anything. So we have the haftarah for Parashat Noach. What does it say? The haftarah for Parashat Noach is the book of Isaiah 54. And in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, we have a verse 9. And it calls the flood the waters of Noach. Now the question is, why does it call the waters of Noach? If I have a person that he was saved from something, I'm going to call it his waters. It was. So what is the Torah saying basically? It's blaming the flood on him. I'm going to say the person that saved the world, it was his fault. Why was his fault? He was the one that was saved. He was the one that can make humans continue. Every single person, every single human is the son of Noach. Is the descendants of Noach. So it's his fault. He told them, he gave them enough time to do teshuva, the people. They didn't do teshuva. What do you want from him? So the Chachamim explain the Zohar in the first book, page 67b. Page 67b, it says that the reason why it's called after Noach is because he didn't pray enough for his generation. It says the words velo. It says lo ba'ar rachmin al alma v'it abadu. It says that he didn't ask for mercy for his people, and they were wiped out. They were destroyed. And the Chachamim explain that he didn't rebuke his people. He didn't go over to the people and say, hey, you got to do teshuva. You got to stop with these averot. You got to stop with these sins, with these desires and everything. You got to stop. So the question is, it's so much so that even in the Zohar, in the Divrei Chazal, what does it say? Hashem tells him, after he comes out of the flood, he starts crying. And he gets so depressed that he makes the vineyard. And he gets drunk and everything. Hashem tells him, he says, why are you crying? Hashem says, Noach says, look at the world, it's destroyed. I'm the only one. Me and my family, the only ones. Hashem looks at him and says, Raya Shatya, you foolish shepherd. Why? Why is Noach a foolish shepherd? He says, why didn't you pray before? Why didn't you cry? Why didn't you tell them anything before? You're crying now? You are a foolish shepherd. You're a foolish person. So many people that say, well, they want mashiach now. No problem, want the mashiach now. But when a mashiach comes and people are going to get destroyed, your family members, your friends, and all these type of things, you're going to cry then? You're going to cry then? And then what is Hashem going to say? He's going to say, oh, you know what, don't worry, I know it's sad, I know it's this. No, he's going to say, you stupid people. Why are you crying now? Why didn't you cry to them whenever you saw them violating Shabbat? Why didn't you cry to them and scream, no, don't do it? Don't do it. It's like the same person as the kid putting a key inside the outlet. Scream at them, tell them, no, please, kill me instead. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill your Olam Haba. You cry, you scream at them, please, stop violating Shabbat. Stop going against God. What are they going to do? If they love you and they understand you, they listen to you, they're going to listen to you. They're going to stop you. He's going to say, you know what, Ima, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it for you. For now, I'm going to do it for you until I learn Torah and everything, and then I'll do it because Hashem said so. Because I'll do it for Hashem. So Hashem says, why didn't you pray before? Noach, why didn't you pray before? Why didn't you rebuke? Why didn't you tell them something before? Calls them, you're a foolish shepherd. So, in the end, it's kind of difficult to say this. Why? Why is it difficult? Because it says in the beginning of the Pasuk, what does it say? The first verse of Parashat Noach. This is chapter 6, verse 9. Ele toldat Noach ish tzadik tamim haya b'dorotav. Et ha'elokim hitalech Noach. Basically it's saying Noach was a righteous person. He was complete. And he went in the way of God. So what does it mean that he didn't do this? And then what do you mean? He's just going to let everybody do everything and that's it? Yes, it's obviously not. So, this is whenever we find the Sforno, we see in the verse right before, what does it say? V'noach matzachin b'nei Hashem. That Noach found grace in the eyes of God. What does he say over there? He says that don't think that Noach didn't rebuke his nation. They didn't rebuke his people. Didn't rebuke the people at that time. What does it mean? It means he rebuked them. He rebuked them. But how did he rebuke them? He rebuked them in understandable, in things that are understandable, in the mind of human beings. He says, don't kill. Why? It's not nice. What are you taking someone else's life? Is his life better than yours? All these type of things. He stole them in a thing that's logical, not in a way that you have to connect to God. What's an example? It's an example of keep Shabbat. Why? Why should I keep Shabbat? Because it's a day off. But the problem is, person will say, I don't want a day off. I like working. Or if anything, what am I going to do for Shabbat? I'm like bored. I might as well work. Make money, do everything. Or was it keep Nida? Why? Why should I keep Nida? He doesn't say because Hashem said so, it's karet, you're going to lose your olam haba if you violate Shabbat, you do karet, you do Nida and all these type of things. You don't keep family purity. Why does he say to keep Nida? Because you're going to keep your family, your marriage fresh. You know, you're not going to be with her 24/7. You're going to take a break every once a month, and then next month it's going to be fresh for you. That's why you should do it. And this is the problem. Also, it says, don't waste seed. Don't waste seed, as we learned in the sefer that I brought you before. It says don't waste seed. Doesn't say because the Shulchan Aruch says it's one of the worst sins in the Torah, or because Hashem says it was evil. He says it was evil, as you saw the son of Yehuda, doing it. He says this is evil. Now, the person doesn't tell him that. What does he tell him? Don't waste seed. Why? Because it's good to have kids. Look at this, beautiful and everything. They grew up. You could keep your family line. Don't cheat on your wife. It's not nice. Don't steal because it's not nice. You know, he worked hard for it. And also, like, how would you like if they did it to you? If they stole from you? If they, cheated with your wife? If they do all these type of things? How would you like it? How would you like if your parents wasted your father? And guess what? You wouldn't have been here. How would you like it? This is all in the mind. But he didn't. He did that. Sfono says that he did that way. As what we see, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, many people do it nowadays. They say, do this because of this, do this because of this, do this, even because you're going to get a reward over here. You're going to be rich. No. Do it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said it. Do it because, yes, you will get a reward, but if you don't, you're going to get punished for it. Here and in Gehinnom. Here, you're going to get punished for it, and you're also going to lose your world to come. This is the reason. Do it because simply, what do you think you are? You're going against God. As we said before with the lion, how much God does everything for us and we're just going to go against Him? All these type of things. Now, what's another thing? Another thing was Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, he explains, he says, the Gemara explains, whenever Bnei Yisrael, whenever people did Avodah Zarah, whenever they did idolatry, what's the real reason why they left the truth of the Torah and went and did idolatry? Not necessarily because they believed in that idolatry. What was the reason they did idolatry? It was because they wanted to allow licentiousness. They wanted to allow promiscuity. They wanted to allow, I want to do whatever I want. I want to be with this girl, then I want to be with this one, I want to be with this one, I want to be with this donkey, I want to be with whatever I want. The only reason why they said they believed in the idols is because they wanted to allow this in their life. The sexual immorality. So that was the problem. It's not because necessarily believed in it. He just wanted to do this. He just wanted to do that. So what does Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky comes and explains? He says that was the problem with Noach. Whenever Noach saw that they were doing something, they saw that they were worshipping idols, they saw that they were stealing, what did he say to them? He says, why are you stealing? Even though, yes, he's supposed to say, why are you stealing? Stop stealing, don't steal, who do you think you are? But what is he supposed to say? Not only why are you stealing, he's supposed to look within the depth. What is causing him to steal? His middot, he's jealous, he's arrogant, he's, all these type of things. So you have two ways of looking at it. Either you look at the action, at the surface level problem, the surface level thing, or you look at the source, the cause of what is causing this thing to happen. So we have, it's like, for example, if someone speaks Lashon Hara, why is he speaking Lashon Hara? You speak Lashon Hara, you're supposed to do teshuva just for Lashon Hara? You're supposed to just do just for Lashon Hara? No. How are you supposed to do teshuva? You're supposed to do teshuva for Lashon Hara, not only for the Lashon Hara, not only for speaking bad about your friend, or for whatever type of, any type of Jew, any type of person. What are you supposed to say? Hashem, I'm sorry, not only for my Lashon Hara, I'm sorry for having the ga'ava. Why am I saying Lashon Hara on this person? Because I have ga'ava, I think I'm better than him, I think I should be better than him, I think I have jealousy. Who does this guy think he is? And then you go to everybody and say, look at this loser, look at this, because why? I'm jealous. Why? I have ga'ava. So the root, I have to fix my ga'ava. I have to say, Hashem, I'm sorry, I cannot believe I'm a ga'avtan. I'm an egotistical person. I think I'm better than everybody. I stole from him. Why? Because I think it belongs to me. I have a lack of emunah. So he's supposed to go to the person and he's supposed to tell them, who do you think you are? Why are you... Don't say, don't bow to this idol. What is he? It's just a piece of wood. He's supposed to say, do you know how much God is the one that made you. This thing, you made it. You're worshipping it. Hashem is the one that made you. Hashem is the one. Teach him about Hashem. Teach him about Hashem. Not just talk about the problem. Yes, you're supposed to talk about the problem. Why are you stealing? Why are you worshipping this? Why are you doing this type of licentiousness? What are you doing? And all these type of things. Also, if someone violates Shabbat, he's not supposed to look at it, I'm sorry, I violated Shabbat. He's supposed to look at it and say, Hashem, I'm sorry, I'm not learning enough halachot Shabbat. I'm not learning, and the biggest cause of every sin, the biggest cause, is the lack of fear of God. Hashem put in the system, I want you to be afraid of me. Of course I want you to love me, but it's a very high level. First start off with fearing me. Hashem says, I want you to fear me. Be afraid of me. Be afraid of my exaltedness, but also, in the basic level, be afraid that I'm going to punish you if you do what's incorrect. Noach should tell them, Hashem will bring the mabul. You have to do teshuva. People are going to say, what is teshuva? Listen, you will find a few people that would want to do teshuva. We say, what do you mean, what's teshuva? Who is God? Who is this? Be'emet, you know what? Maybe you have some chokhmah, let me hear it. But if you just start saying, listen, don't do abortion, then you're going to say, listen, I understand that. I don't want to kill the baby, but look at the woman, look at the girl. You're going to take away her chance to live, the chance to have a free life. She has ambitions, and you're going to make her a mother now. All these they could always rationalize everything. You're not supposed to do it that way. You're supposed to do it in a way that's divine, in the way that Hashem says, I want you to deal with this. The biggest cause of almost every avera, especially the ones on purpose, is that the person does not have enough fear of Shamayim, fear of heaven. So this is, of course, Noach did rebuke. Of course he did. But he didn't do it in the right way. He did it in a way that is logical. In the way that, okay, we're going to make the person stop based on what he understands. We're supposed to make him stop because of the way of the Torah. The way the Torah says to make someone stop. Teach the guy some yirat shamayim. Teach the guy all these type of things. That way he's going to do teshuva. We're going to do this and we're going to end right after this. Okay. So now, let's get to the part of the flood. Even though we were talking about the flood the whole entire time, let's just read a little bit from inside. From verse 17 to verse 23. What does it say? When the flood was on the earth 40 days, the waters increased and raised the ark, so that it was lifted above the earth. The waters strengthened and increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark drifted upon the surface of the waters. Verse 19. The waters strengthened very much upon the earth. All the high mountains which were under the entire heavens were covered. So pause for a second. The ark was above all the highest mountains, and at that time Mount Ararat in Turkey was the highest mountain. Continuation, verse 20. 15 cubits upward did the water strengthen, and the mountains were covered. And all the flesh that moves upon the earth expired, among the birds, the animals, the beasts, and all the creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all mankind, all in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life, of everything that was on dry land died. And he blotted out all existence that was on the face of the ground, from man to animals to creeping things, and to the bird of the heavens. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noach survived, and those with him in the ark. So we see, we have right now just got the whole entire the basic picture of the flood. So in another sefer of Rav Ephraim Krachlon, he speaks about the Mabul. Now, what is the Mabul? As we just said, it just spoke about, it was a catastrophe. It ruined everything. As we even saw the Malbim, he says it ruined everything. He made things older than it seemed. It killed everyone, even the smallest bugs it killed. Now this is coming to explain, first of all, as we know, who survived. It says in the verse 23, it says, "V'yisharer ach Noach v'asher ito b'teva." Only the only ones that survived was Noach and the ones with him on the ark. No one else survived. No one. So explains that this is coming to give a remez, coming to give a hint to a future mabul that's going to happen, a future flood. What do you mean there's going to be a future flood? There's going to be a future flood. I thought HaShem said it's never going to happen. That He's never going to flood the earth ever again. Flood an earth with water. However, there's going to be a different type of flood. What a flood? The flood that we have nowadays. The flood of heresy. The flood of plitzut, of immodesty, of promiscuity, of disgustingness, disgusting mentality. Seriously, you look around the earth, the world, and you just see the nastiness that people have, the insanity that people are. It's not normal. It's just not normal. So this is the type of mabul that we have nowadays. That people, it's just crazy things that people go around. And there's different types of kfir, different types of heresy around. There's even people that call themselves rabbis, people that even call themselves orthodox, that have a long, nice beard, nice hat, and still spread kfirah, still spread complete heresy. And not only that, also we see that people dress immodestly, people talk immodestly, even people that sometimes supposed to be religious, that sometimes they're in yeshiva, they use nasty words, disgusting words, they speak to people disgustingly. They don't watch their eyes, they don't watch their breath. And there are people that walk around immodesty. Sometimes it's even the religious people that walk around immodesty. Sometimes it's even the, so to speak, rabbi's wife, or sometimes rabbi's daughter, HaShem Yishmael, that walk around. What's the problem? What was the problem over here? Where did we go wrong? Because we did not, the people, the only way to be saved is to be in Tevat Noach. Is to only be in Tevat Noach. The way we get saved is the same pasuk, the same verse as we said. The only ones that was saved is Noach and the ones that was in the Teva. Now what? Okay, fine, no problem. You're saying that this is the flood, and he's saying that we have to be in the Teva. What's the Teva nowadays? What are we? We don't have a boat. We don't have anything. What are we supposed to stay locked in a closet and everything? That's it. Don't speak to anybody. Don't do anything. So there is a Rav Eisel Harif. Rav Eisel Harif. He was at the time of the 1800s. He lived from 1800s to the 1872. 72 years. And that's whenever around the time that the reforms started happening. The Haskalah, the Enlightenment movement. The Enlightenment movement, what did they started doing? We even have a story with the Baba Sali, how they came. They were scared to move in, but one time he had to go somewhere. He had to go somewhere for a little while, and they knew that he left, so they moved in fast to his neighborhood. Moved there, bought a building, made classes and everything over there. By the time he came back, they already got themselves settled in. And he saw that a lot of his students, a lot of people in the country, already settled their kids into the school. So why not? It's a nice, whatever. They're teaching math, science, everything. They're still teaching Torah. They still have some Torah, some Moshe, Abraham, and all these type of things. So they said, why not? Go enjoy, learn, become a professor, become a Talmid Chacham in secular studies. The Baba Sali, Rav Yisrael Abuchatzira, he understood. He wasn't an idiot. He understood what this is. He understood that eventually it will become reform. And then you know what reform is nowadays. It's not like a certain sect of Judaism that's accepted. No, it's a different religion. It's heresy completely. So what did he understood this. So he says, you know what, everybody, all the Jews come to the Bet Knesset. Come to the Bet Knesset, I have an announcement to make. He brings all the people of his community, and he says a few simple words. He says, anybody that has his son in the school, still by tomorrow, his son will die within the year. And he left. And they were scared. They understood that the Baba Sali is a holy man. Whatever he says goes. Automatically, everybody took their things, the kids out of the school. Few of them didn't. Few died. He wasn't. No, there's no way to be lenient with this. Okay, listen, go to the school that teaches kfirah, that teaches heresy, that teaches garbage, that the teachers are garbage. So, going back to Rav Eisel, Rav Eisel Harif, he was around that time, and they were coming within his kehillah. And he's walking with the students one time, and they start building Batei Midrashim, the reforms. They start building like academies for Torah, Batei Midrashim. He goes over, he's walking with his students, and he looks at one of these reform Beit Midrash, and he says, "This is mamash Tevat Noach. This is the Ark of Noach." We just said that you have to go you have to be in the Noach's Ark. So what? You have to be in this place? They wondered. They're like, "What are you talking about? Kudarav, please teach me. I don't understand what you're talking about. It seems like opposite. You're saying you have to go to the reform Beit Midrash." He says, "No. You don't understand." He says, "What does it say about in the pasuk?" It says in the pasuk how the teva was made. He says, "Ma tevat Noach hayta mibet umachutz bekofel." Also, this one is mibet umachutz bekofel. What is the way? He says of this way, as it says in the verse, it says that the outside and the inside of the teva was with pitch, with tar. You had to put tar on it. So, but the word for tar in Hebrew is kofel. So he says the same way that Tevat Noach was with kofel, with the pitch. Same way over here is with pitch, is with kofel. What's kofel? Kfirah. He says this place is kfirah. This place is heresy. So he wanted to say it just in a way as, oh yeah, of course, this is Tevat Noach. Student says, what do you mean? This place is filled with kfirah, the same way that Noach was with the teva was with kofel. So now, but the question is, okay, very nice. But what's the real Tevat Noach? So the Chazon Ish explains. He says, what is the real Tevat Noach that's going to save people from all the bad influences of the world? This is the Orthodox Bet Midrash. Come to the Bet Midrash and learn and be in the learning and everything. And grab learning, grab good hashkafa, grab musar, grab ways to how you're supposed to deal with the Rishaim, how you're supposed to deal with them. You have to separate from them. In the end, they're gonna influence you. You have to separate from them. In the end, yes, it has to be, but in properly. I would say it says the way of the Torah is nice and peaceful. And it's peaceful. And even in the word, what does it say? It says Vishael ach Noach. It's only Noach and his family, right? In the verse it says only Noach and the ones that are in the teva, but it says V'She'el Ach Noach, only whenever it was Noach, whenever it was only peaceful, whenever it was only proper. That's how they were saved. So, a person wants to be saved, he has to do it in a way that's proper, do it in a way that's nice, but in the end, he has to watch himself. He has to go to the Beit Midrash, he has to go to the places that's going to save him. Only the way to get saved is to drown yourself in Torah, to drown yourself in Kedusha. Every single time you have a way to learn. Every single time you have a way to grow in Judaism, grow in the way to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Any question you have, ask. The Torah is you're supposed to ask questions, supports asking questions. But you have to ask questions in a way that, you know what, I'm going to learn. I want to learn. I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth, so I'm going to learn. The Torah allows you to ask questions. It's not like in other religions, they say, listen, just believe, don't ask questions. Just believe. The Torah says, ask questions. I want you to know that I am God and I want you to go in my ways. So someone that wants to be saved from all the flood that's happening in the world, and also wants to be saved from when a mashiach comes, has to be in the learning, has to be in the safe thing of the teva. B'ezrat HaShem, that we will be in the right state of mind, in the right hashkafa. Learn the musar not to be like the lion. Learn the musar to have, to not be kfui tova, to not be an ungrateful person, and to understand that people do things for us. HaShem does things for us, and have to know. And we want B'ezrat HaShem. We understand how much He does for us, and it's not so hard to do the things that He says. It's not hard. If only we have the ratzon and we go into it and make it easy on ourselves. We have the ratzon, we want to do it, it will be easy, because Hashem says, "Bepivcha ulvavcha la'asoto." It's in your mouth, it's in your heart to do it, and it's just have to open up your mouth, open up your heart, and it will come to you. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen ve'Amen.